Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Beauty Pop Podcast. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Jen.
And today we've got a lot to talk about today. I feel like we've got good products. I know. Today's a little jammed. So we've got good products. We've got an interesting take from one of Hollywood's, at this point, Mary Phillips is like the go-to makeup artist of Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And some of our absolute favorite women in Hollywood use Mary Phillips religiously. So we've got some tips from her on how to get the glow. We've been talking, I feel like the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about the glow because it's the winter.
And we need the glow.
And we need the glow. And we have we both have dry skin, and we're always on the hunt for the glow.
Yeah.
So we've got that. And then you've got a review of what looks like a super cute movie, 80 for Brady.
Yeah,
which is in theaters.
I finally went back to the movies. I think this is the first time, maybe the second time post-COVID. It's so weird how we don't go to the movies anymore.
I know.
So I went, and
I'm so attached to my sofa.
I'll tell you about it. I know.
So let's kick it off. So in last episode, I had, at the very end, I teased a product that has completely transformed my makeup routine. So it's going to tie in a little bit here with what Mary Phillips, Hollywood's go-to makeup artist now, some famous faces that she is responsible for, the glow of J-Lo, right?
I mean, she's got some glow.
Is there anything better than J-Lo's complexion?
I think she's not human, J-Lo. She's
that is true.
So pretty and lovely and and I hate saying ageless. For her age. I mean, for any age, she is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So the verdict is out. She has not lived a life of hardship like us or something. I don't know.
She's a fembot.
She lives on a cloud somewhere with Ben Affleck.
Well, it's funny because we actually just saw the new movie that she has with Josh Duhamel.
I want to see it. Was it
Shotgun
cute?
Wedding.
Yeah.
It's a totally cute J-Lo rom-com. So it's not going to win, any acting awards, but it's a cute, fun. Jennifer Coolidge is in it. So anytime you get a little dose of Jennifer Coolidge, that's fun. Cheech Marin is cute in it as well. Good cameos. It's a fun movie, but she's playing a bride, obviously Shotgun Wedding. They have the destination wedding and then things go awry. But in the movie, they don't mention her age, but she looks, I don't know if she looks 40, honestly.
I know. I would say she's in her 30s. I mean, she does look so.
She
doesn't even have the crinkles. I know. Yeah. She doesn't even have the little lines around her eyes that we get from smelling. It's crazy.
And she's not frozen. She doesn't have the frozen
Her face has movement. She's not overfilled. Her lips look normal. She doesn't look like the robot face that we all see on the Real Housewives shows.
Yep.
She looks naturally gorgeous and beautiful.
Yeah. And Josh
she must
Duhamel,
spend a lot of money to get there.
Probably. And Josh Duhamel, who I also think kind of is looking better than ever.
He's one of those men that gets better with age.
He's gotten better. Yeah.
And you know what he does? Because I follow him on Instagram. He does those ice baths. Have you seen a lot of people doing them now?
Oh, yeah. I can't do it.
He's big into the ice bath. I know. Check, please. Hello? Give my bath some bubbles and hot water.
Lots of heat. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The only ice I want is in my cup.
Yes.
I'm in my bathtub.
In the cocktail that you hand me in the spa.
That's right.
That's it. Yeah, I can't do that. But he looks, I want to say he's mid to late 40s.
He is. Yeah, that's right.
And so J-Lo's 53. She looks younger than he does, for sure.
Wow.
Which, in Hollywood, it's always the guy who's older with a 20-year-old, that pairing. So good for J-Lo because I think she's kind of breaking some ceilings here with being the older woman being cast with the younger man. And
still hot.
Yeah.
Still
and
working it.
Being cast to play the same age as the younger guy. So it's not like there isn't a May, December joke or anything, It's no, she just looks that good and they look the same age or she looks younger.
Yeah,
but anyway, it's super cute. It is a very cute movie. I think it's streaming on Peacock or whatever. But yeah, Lewis and I watched it. Lewis laughed a bunch. He really liked it. It's got some cute stuff in it. So anyway, the glow that J-Lo is famous for comes courtesy of makeup artist Mary Phillips, who I follow on Instagram. She travels with J-Lo. Every picture that you see of J-Lo on a yacht with Ben, on vacation in Italy, on their honeymoon, everywhere, Mary Phillips is also there. And Chris Appleton,
I
who
just
does her
added
hair.
her. I wasn't following her before, but I just did during this very podcast. I started following her.
So some of her other famous clients, famous faces that Mary Phillips is in charge of, Kendall Jenner.
Okay.
Which is not hard to make her look good.
No.
Bella Hadid. Also
and
not
Kendall,
hard
by the
to
way,
make.
Is the most beautiful because she's had the least work done. You know, I think that Kim and Kylie and Khloe, Kourtney are all really beautiful in their own way. I'm not trying to besmirch that at all. But when you look at Kendall, she's just got that naturally beautiful, even if she has touched, it doesn't look like she's touched, where everybody else looks like they've had some work done.
Yeah. Kendall is.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Kendall's stunning. And also Heidi Klum. So another woman who I want to say is early 50s.
Yeah.
Heidi Klum,
she's another one who's still gorgeous.
Right. So this article, which was in Refinery 29, which I love. I always try to read Refinery. So they basically said, Mary Phillips is known for the glow, but not like a Pat McGrath dramatic look, right? It's the sort of less...
The bling.
Yeah, right? So I love Pat McGrath too for what, if you want that kind of look. But Mary Phillips is really known for this like really understated, very natural kind of look. And so she walked through all the steps. I have to tell you, I was pretty surprised. Now, we always know the less it looks like you're wearing, the more makeup you actually are wearing,
Absolutely.
Right? All women know that.
The more natural they say you are, the more stuff you have slathered on your face.
Of course. So like we all know that going in. But this process was really... This was kind of interesting. So what she does, so she preps the woman's face with moisturizer, whatever moisturizer, I don't know, whatever you like, she uses. So after she does that, she begins applying foundation all over the face.
Okay.
And she uses, and this is where it gets a little pricey, she uses La Mer, the soft fluid long wear foundation.
Okay.
Which I tried a sample of once, and it's very... velvety, it would be how I would describe it. It's not glowy and it's not matte. It's more of like a velvet. It's so I could see
like a mild sheen, but mostly matte.
Yeah. But I could see why she does the next step. She mixes that with, and this is where it kind of scares me a little. She mixes a couple of drops of Kiehl's cannabis sativa seed oil concentrate, mixes the oil into the foundation on the back of her hand. Then she uses a big fluffy brush, which also kind of threw me because like big fluffy brushes are, for powder and stuff. Like I use a foundation brush, but it's more of like a stippling kind of texture. But I
use the brushes God gave me. There's 10 of them on my
which so many makeup artists for years have said the warmth from your fingertips is really the best thing to do.
That's why I use it. Yeah, it makes it go. I feel like and sometimes I use my cosmetic sponge, but yeah, most of the time it's my fingers, baby.
So she uses it's a big, wide, fluffy brush, which I don't know how you don't get that like weighed down. You know what I mean? Like how the bristles.
What I don't understand. Does she wet it first? Is it damp?
No, she goes right in. It was like a big fluffy brush. She did an Instagram video on it where like you can see on Refinery. So she swirls together the couple drops of the Kiehl's oil, mixes it with the foundation. And her quote is, and this is sort of her signature look, she said, "I'm careful not to wipe the skin out. I like that you can see through the foundation and you see skin and you see freckles and stuff," which is sort of that's her signature look.
That's her
look. It looks natural. So she said it's all about starting small and then building more and more with this big fluffy brush. So the skin oil that she recommends, I'm not an oil fan. I've tried every skin oil. I'm not a fan. But anyway, so the La Mer long wear foundation, it's $120. It's expensive for a foundation. The Kiehl's stuff is probably more reasonably priced. Kiehl's is never
50.
really.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Kiehl's isn't that bad. But apparently if you have some skin issues, Kendall Jenner has been very open about having lots of acne problems. So apparently this oil can help calm inflammation. It can prevent breakouts and stuff. So I guess it works really well. It has some SPF in it. It has antioxidants. It seems to work really well, for Kendall. So now this is where it gets a little wild. Okay. So after the foundation and the oil is swirled, all around, right? Then she goes back, and we've been talking about when you gave us the list from Vogue couple weeks ago, right? The big, like one of the big beauty trends for 2023 was the all over glow, as opposed to like the 2022 and previous years was really more of like, you know, the shading and then the highlight
the
and
targeted
all that.
glow, right?
So this is more of like the all over glow. So this is how she gets it. This kind of trips me up. So after she's got your foundation mixed with the oil and everything's done, she then goes to Waleda's Skin Food, which if you've ever used it, it's like $12 for the bottle, right? It is a deeply, deeply moisturizing, thick cream. And women with dry skin everywhere have like, it makes every beauty list. It's cheap, it's healthy for your skin, and that's why it's called Skin Food. She then takes the Skin Food, goes on top of the foundation. I know, I see your face, right? Like I'm scared. Like, wait, what?
Scared.
I'm like, I'm a little nervous. So she said she uses the Waleda Skin Food as the highlighter. So instead of putting it all over, she takes another brush, and she said the whole point of highlighter is to get a pop of shine, not like a stripe, which is obviously like, you know, when you get like the, you know, when people do, you know, the bronzer, you know, that whole look, it looks a little stripy if you don't blend it really well.
It sure can.
So what she does then, she actually said that if you use the moisturizer as your highlighter, that it gives you that glow from within, which is exactly what J-Lo and Kendall Jenner, and she also does Hailey Bieber. That's another one. She's always got that glow. And so I literally was like, wait, what? So she said she takes a little bit of the moisturizer, the Skin Food, and I'm telling you, this is a thick cream.
Yeah,
it's almost like a hand cream. And so she puts it on the back of her hand. She uses another fluffy brush. How are these brushes I don't know how they're not.
You know, makeup artists, they like carry around like 12 million things. So I guess they have the space, but
yeah. And so she said
she's using another one. Okay.
So she uses another fluffy brush, and she buffs the skin in areas where you want that glow. So think like cheekbones, a little bit on the, you know, the bridge of your nose, a little bit on the forehead and the chin. And she said it's basically, she calls it a magic eraser, which, you know, I use a magic eraser all over the house. I love a magic eraser. And she said it rehydrates the makeup without removing any of it.
Really?
I know. I'm as incredulous as you are. I'm reading this. I'm like, wait, what?
Because to me, this seems like a big old greasy mess so far. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I feel like I would look like if I did all this. But okay. Yeah. I'm game. I mean, who am I to question Kendall Jenner and J-Lo?
You know, the thing that really... If she had said, I put some on the back of my hand and then I tap in like along the, you know, like along the cheekbone,
I would get that. Yeah.
I would understand that. But the fluffy brush is what's throwing me.
Yeah, she's putting it everywhere and then fluffy brushing where you want it. Okay, so it kind of roughs it up probably, or brings attention there.
And she said,
does she do anything else?
That's it. And she doesn't use powder.
She doesn't put like a powder or anything?
She doesn't set with powder. That's it. Now, granted, if someone is going to be on a red carpet, you know, you always have to do a little powder underneath your eyes because the
about concealer?
Bounces. I think if she needs a little bit of concealer on someone, like a lot of makeup artists though, and I've heard this for years, a lot of makeup artists don't like concealer.
I know.
In areas where you need a little more, they just use more foundation.
I know.
And I started doing that years ago under my eyes. I don't really have dark circles or anything. But I just did a glycolic treatment, so my face is extra red right now. But underneath my eyes where you would normally put some concealer, I just go a little bit heavier with a different brush, and I just use foundation. And I go right up underneath my lashes. And I find that it works better because concealer is a different consistency.
It is. It's thicker.
It's thicker. It's like, and it kind of, I feel like you can always see it. In a way, like even if it's blended, you know, you see that textural difference.
That's why I actually really like, I use NARS foundation most of the time. We've had an episode on that.
Yeah.
I also use the concealer, and I find that if you use it, I don't think that you can use competing brands.
I agree.
I use
the
as much
Chanel.
As I love to use multiple products, when it comes to concealer and foundation, your best result, because it can be really noticeable, and the truth in that is if you watch a lot of reality TV and you see women who are doing their own makeup for television, especially if they have a darker skin tone, you can always see the concealer. It reflects back in the lights that they use, and it looks awful. Sometimes it can take on a yellow glow. So I always think the best way to do it, because I do use concealer every day, but I use the same, NARS line so that everything matches, the colors blend. Yep. It's not all crazy.
Yeah, I learned that lesson the hard way when I switched years ago, when I started using Charlotte Tilbury, the Light Wonder foundation, which they don't make anymore. It's been replaced with something else. It's a little bit thicker, which I understand because the Light Wonder was very light. And it kind of like, if you swipe, if you like wiped your eye, like there goes your foundation. Like it would really come off easily. And I used the NARS concealer. That was always my go-to because they're great products.
They're really good products.
But it didn't work together. So when I switched to the Chanel foundation, which I still am in love with, I went right to the Chanel, the corresponding concealer.
I think it's smart in that respect because you are looking for formulas to work together. What scares me about her thing, but I actually kind of want to try it. I'd be interested to try that foundation for sure, is to see how that works. In my mind, it bends so many rules. Like it bends the concealer, it bends the fact that you're putting more moisture on your face instead of trying. And I know we all want the glow, but we also don't want to look like a shiny disco ball or like we've just worked out. So the fact that you're not putting any kind of like matte product or a powder at least or something, I'm curious. I would love to try those products all together.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when I read that, and I reread it a few times because I'm like, wait a minute, am I getting this right? But when you think of, if you put like J-Lo, Heidi Klum, Kendall, Hailey Bieber, I think she also does Chrissy Teigen before Chrissy had the most recent baby or whatever, but Chrissy always had that same, there's a thread. And the thread is they never have a lot of makeup on, or at least it looks like they, always have a sort of natural look. And they all have the same glow in the same places.
It's not overdone.
It's never overdone. It's always definitely highlighting the cheeks and the cheekbones. And she definitely brings everything up, which is important, especially as you get older. Like a lot of women, when you see the bronzer line, it's never high enough. Especially with older women. You've got to go higher than you think you need to go, right? Because if you don't, you are literally drawing the eye and your face down.
Right. I know.
And a lot of people kind of miss that. So this is a wild procedure, I think. This whole process.
I want to try though. I want to try the brushes too. I kind of like, I'm intrigued by that. Like it's almost like a paintbrush. And all of those women, their skin is an emphasis, definitely. Like it's the skin that speaks to you, not just the makeup.
Exactly.
So I'm curious to know what their skin looks like before she goes in, because I would think if you're dealing with major discoloration or major acne or major issues, I wonder how that works with that, or if it does, because we think these women all have beautiful skin.
Right.
Kendall has acne though, I think.
Kendall has acne, and she's been like honest about that. So the fact that procedure works on her, and I think it must be that Kiehl's oil that maybe is like creating that barrier so that nothing else is really clogging her pores. That's the only thing I can think of
the like CBD, I would also think might actually help treat that, maybe bring down the inflammation that you get and the redness from something like acne. So that might be, because that's one of the things that CBD is supposed to do for you, right? You would think maybe it would work in that same way on your face.
Yeah. And it's interesting that, that it's even the sativa strain, because, there's different strains of marijuana, right? And so it's so interesting that they chose sativa, which is a strain that if you are a fan of gummies or edibles or whatever, smoking, sativa like wakes you up. Right. So I wonder if there's a correlation, almost like a caffeine. You know how like a
brightening
caffeine
effect, kind of,
Yeah. So I'm wondering if there's something there, or if that's just total marketing and that there's nothing to it. I don't know.
It might just be what was available when they put it together.
Right. They're like, oh, it's sativa.
I'll take this.
So I want you to try this because you're really good at makeup.
I really do. I want to try.
I kind of
and
really
tell me the
need
foundation
you to do it.
again. It was.
It's the La Mer.
La Mer, that's right.
Which you can get a sample of. Do you have out in, because you're in LA on the East Coast? Do you have Blue Mercury stores?
No.
They're on the East Coast. I wasn't really sure. I thought they were a West Coast thing, and there's one that just opened not far from me. It's very like boutique-y when you go in, and they only have very specific brands. They carry La Mer, like all the makeup of La Mer, which is not easy to find.
I know. I was going to say, I didn't even really think about them in that vein.
Yeah. So they carry all La Mer. Chantecaille? You know that French brand? It's been around forever. Like our moms both used it back in the day, and then it went like higher end. And so it was sort of like
truly, it's probably something I've seen, but you're saying it nicely, and I probably have it in my head. Like
it's CHNTECAILLE.
Huh.
Chanticale?
No, I don't know. Chanticale.
Chanticale?
Oh, Chanticale. No, I'm just kidding.
So, but like they carry a lot of these brands that you really can't find, you know, unless maybe if you go to like a Saks Fifth Avenue or a Neiman Marcus, right? They're the only two other places I can think of. Bergdorf's maybe. But
I wonder if on the La Mer website, if you can order sample size of the foundation.
I don't know. I went into Blue Mercury.
I'm going to check it out.
I went into Blue Mercury and I got a little sample of this foundation, which is the full name of it is La Mer Soft Fluid Long Wear Foundation. Okay. And so the girl like obviously knew $120 for a bottle is really a commitment.
You have to try it.
You have to try it.
And you have to try it and love it to pay $120.
And the reason I didn't commit to the bottle is because they just didn't have the right shade for me. So that's the, you know, and makeup artists like a Mary Phillips, she probably mixes 3 different shades
to make the perfect one. Right. I'm sure she does.
So there's a lot of
I still want to try. I want to try the brush technique. I just actually bought a couple of new brushes. So maybe what I should do is wash them up and just like get to town and just see what the application process is like. Because
I would imagine, and Mary Phillips didn't go into detail on what type of brush, other than you can see it's just a big fluffy
brush. Yeah,
what I would just consider to be a powder brush.
Yeah, that's what I probably would use.
I wonder, like, you know how when you go into Sephora, right? They have a whole wall of brushes that Sephora makes, and so I wonder if they have a foundation brush that because you would need stiffer bristles.
That's what I would think. I wonder. So you know what? Maybe we have some Googling to do. We have some homework. Maybe we need to Google. I like
homework
foundation.
At Sephora.
I know. That's okay. Yeah. Fluffy foundation brush. Maybe that's what we might have to look up and see.
Yeah.
If they have something like specific.
So speaking of Sephora, okay. So now we've talked about like that crazy process that Mary Phillips uses on all these women, right?
And I'm going to tell you how you can do a glow for $28. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. I didn't spend 28, but I can tell you how I get that glow.
Okay. Because this is the product of your life. You said it's so good.
Okay. I might even sound like, fair warning, I might sound like a crazy person.
All right.
With the level of enthusiasm I'm about to have for this
We just said that we should put balm on top of our foundation. So this could be the crazy episode, but all right, let's go.
Okay. So I went into Sephora probably a month ago. And I went in with the sole purpose of, because we've talked about, you know, when we did the foundation episode, I fell in love with the Chanel No. 1 foundation. Right. I still use it, but in the winter, it's just a tick too matte for me. And so a while back, I went to Sephora. I got a little suckered. I got sold a bottle of Dior Show. It's Face and Body Glow. And it has all different shades. The girl gave me like No. 1 neutral. And I know it's supposed to be neutral, but it came out as yellow on me. So I was kind of stuck with this bottle of stuff. And I tried using it so many times. I didn't want to waste the money and I didn't want to just give up on it. So sometimes I would do like 1 or 2 little drops and see if that wouldn't change the shade of the foundation. I tried it with Charlotte Tilbury. Didn't work. I tried it with the Chanel and I just eventually I had to toss it. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I went into the Sephora near me and one of their associates was there. This really cute young guy named Nick at Sephora, Shrewsbury.
Hi, Nick.
And I said to him, I go, I really just I like the idea of dropping in, which is sort of what Mary Phillips is talking about. Yeah. She uses the oil. I wanted to use a glowy product. So I said, I love the idea of, you know, because I mix everything on the back of my hand, just putting a couple drops in. I said, but I that shade is totally wrong. And he was just like, he goes, I'm really sorry someone even matched you up with like that shade. He's like, that's totally wrong for you. So we went through every shade on the lower half of the entire line. There wasn't a single shade. And I had my foundation with me because it's also important because they don't sell it at Sephora. I actually got the Chanel at Ulta. So I brought it with me and we did I mean, I had like both hands and his hands and arms. Like we had everything covered trying to find the right.
You're swatching up. Mm-hmm.
It was a disaster. Nothing worked. And he said, would you be open to trying something different? Because I went in with a specific, I want the Dior show. Like that's what I want. And I said, you know what? I said, at this point, we're 35 minutes in. I'm like, whatever you want to do, Nick. I'm like, I'm done. I said, but I need some glow.
Yeah.
He takes me over to a section that I have never seen before.
Ooh.
A brand that I have never heard of before. Have you heard of Rose Inc?
Rose Inc? No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm not alone. He goes, there's a product here. And he said, just trust me. And I said, okay, I trust you. Because he knew what I was looking for. And he knew the main issue was I just couldn't get the right color. Mm-hmm. So he puts a little bit of my Chanel foundation. We clean our hands. I mean, we had to start from scratch. He takes this bottle, right? There it is. Rose Inc. Pops up. The little lid pops up. You unscrew it. And it's a dropper, right? So it's a little dropper. He puts a couple of drops mixed in, and did like one half of my face. And I looked in the mirror, and they have the different.
I love a side by side, by the way.
So you know how they have the different lighting, right? Settings on those big mirrors in Sephora. I looked in the mirror and I said to him, I said, can you change the mirror setting, the light? And he said, well, that's natural. That's natural sunlight. He said, here it is with, more blue light if you're indoors or more, whatever. And I kept asking him to change it. And he goes, do you not like it? I said, no. I said, I'm obsessed with it, but I need to make sure that this isn't just something that you like, some kind of parlor
magic
trick.
Scam.
And I said, because half my face looks 20. And,
wow.
And he said to me, he goes, I know. He goes, your face looks amazing. So I was like, okay, I'm buying this immediately. So it turns out, I said to him, I'm like, all right, what is Rose Inc? I've never heard of it. Like, what is this? So it's Rosie Huntington Whiteley.
Oh, yeah.
The British model.
Yeah.
Who is now married to Jason Statham, the actor.
Hottie Jason Statham,
right?
Yep.
The British guy who always plays like a thug in every action movie.
Yeah.
That's her. I think they're officially married now. If not, they've been engaged for a million years. So Nick knew the whole like backstory. So she's been one of the top models. I mean, not anymore because I think she's in mom mode, but she was one of the biggest models. I think she did Victoria's Secret. She did everything, major runways in London Fashion Week, things like that. She's stunning and has beautiful skin.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah. So apparently she couldn't find the types of products. And this happens a lot with celebrities, right? She couldn't find the stuff that she was really looking for. So she partnered up with a dermatologist and they created an entire skincare line. And here's the thing, because you know how I love like, my hair serum that we were talking about? It's like an 11-in-1 product. This isn't even meant to be mixed with makeup. It's an added bonus. What this is an SPF serum.
Oh my gosh.
This is actually, I know. So the product is called Solar Power, and it's Luminous SPF 30 serum. It's broad spectrum. I've worn it just over moisturizer, and it gives you like, a glow. But that's what this is. It's actually a sunscreen.
So remember last episode when I was telling you about the product that I love because I felt like it gave me a glow under my makeup, but it doesn't have SPF. And so maybe I need some of that to add into the mix to give me my SPF protection.
So I usually have, I mean, not always, but sometimes I will love something in the store. And when someone else applies it, I'm obsessed. Then I get home, right? And then I try to do it myself and I can't fully recreate it. That's not the case with this. And I also tend to be very heavy-handed. So I use a lot more than I probably need. So 2 days after I buy it, because I don't wear makeup every day. So it was a few days later when I actually did my first run at home with it. We were going to our friend Robert's birthday party. I did too many drops of it, I think.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. It doesn't alter the shade of your foundation at all. If you're now I will say I am very fair skinned and I have not noticed any change in the shade. If you have maybe a darker complexion, maybe, I can't guarantee, I don't know, you might see a little bit of a lightening of it. I'm not sure though, but it pretty much comes out, it looks kind of like a rosy pink and it just comes out clear once it gets mixed onto your skin or mixed in with the foundation. So I take my makeup brush and I'm a little heavy-handed with it. And I'm swiping it on, I start from the inside, and then blend and everything. And I looked in the mirror, in my bathroom mirror, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm 20. It literally is. I'm not even joking when I say it is the fountain of youth. I have never in my entire life used a product like this. So much so that, I mean, I was literally glowing. And Lewis, my husband, noticed it. He was like, because I always have to ask him. I'm like, does my makeup look okay? You know, you have to kind of check. And he was like, yeah, he's like, your skin looks like really good. I'm like, okay. So we see our friend Robert, right, for his birthday party. It's sort of dimly lit kind of place or whatever. So then we saw Robert again this past weekend. We had dinner with him. So we picked him up in our car, and as we're riding to dinner, we're talking or whatever. Then we're sitting down in the restaurant, and he occasionally listens to Beauty Pop.
Right.
And so he goes, oh, I heard that, you know, the episode where Jen was trying, he goes, what's the cha-cha? Like, he didn't know the name.
Muchacha, Robert. Yeah. It's Muchacha.
Yeah. I said, it's the dewy moisturizer. And he said, so, you know, you did tell your listeners that you were going to try it out. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, actually, it's funny. I said, I am using it now. Update on that. Still not sold.
For you, huh?
It felt like I was trying to smush Laffy Taffy into my face. It was not a good. It wasn't good.
I told you it's the consistency, but for me, it works like a charm.
But this could replace. This gives you the glow. So then he noticed that, because then he goes, the reason he said, well, the reason I'm asking about if you use that cream that Jen was talking about, he said, because I see the glow. So when a straight dude says, I see the glow.
Totally.
But the glow that he was seeing is rose ink.
It's rose ink.
Well, there you go. Product. And I'm telling you, like, there's only one shade. There's no shade. You know, you don't have to worry about, like, is it going to match or whatever. You just, it is what it is. It's a one-stop shop. But the fact that it does double duty and you can wear it all summer long if you don't want to wear makeup or whatever, if you're at the beach, the pool, whatever. And it's got a lot of really good ingredients in it because of the dermatology angle. Mm-hmm. No breakouts, like nothing. I cannot wait for you to try this. Like, I want to mail you a bottle of it.
No, I'll actually do it. I have so many Sephora gift cards right now, so they're hot in my hand. I'll order one. How much is it?
Let me look it up. Hold, please. Let me look it up.
Please hold.
Please hold. Let's see. Rose ink. And what is it called again? It's got a long name. Solar Power, right? So Solar Power. And the fact
Needs
that, like,
the sun.
Yeah. So let me see how much it comes up. It wasn't crazy. $46.
Oh, that's not bad.
And you only use, well, here's the thing. If you're going out during the day and you don't want to look shiny, right? Mm-hmm. I would say use like 1 to 2 drops. And this bottle it's a big bottle.
And if not, go Keelan style and use like 12.
Well, if you're going out at night and you want to look 12, then use all the bottle, like use all the drops.
Just drink it and dump it on your face.
I'm telling you, and you can use it. I mean, you can use it as, you know, if you're wearing something where like your collarbone is showing and you want to just dot it along.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Yeah.
It's a highlighter. It'll give you the highlight look without adding, you know, body makeup and stuff. It's basically, when I read the Mary Phillips process, I was like, okay, I can just, like, where's the chase and how do I cut to it? Because that seems like a lot for me. That's a little advanced.
That seems like an awful lot. Yeah.
This is the chase. We've cut to it. This is
all
it.
All right. Rose ink.
Rose ink.
Check it out.
Rosie Huntington Whiteley, if you're listening.
She's gorgeous.
You have found the fountain of youth. I mean, it is, I'm telling you, I cannot wait for you to try it.
I'm going to order it right now. When we stop recording, I will order a bottle and I will have a full review for you. Because that sounds great.
It's
and
just,
I still love my Tatcha. I still think I feel glowy. Look at me. I mean, I feel glowy today. Not too bad. I look up and down.
You always look gorgeous. You always look so gorgeous and put together. But yeah, well, I just was like, I mean, to have a moment, right? When you're 40 plus, right? Or even 35 plus, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a moment where you look at yourself and you go, huh?
I'm 20.
I
know I'm
20.
In.
Like, what? And it literally, it's like, without looking fake at all, because it's very natural looking, it's a walking Instagram filter. It's just
you've got me
all
like
over
crazy
glow.
For this now, and you've been excited about this for a couple of weeks. So
because I wanted to give it a lot of, that's the thing.
Give it some test.
I wanted to give it some test. I've done daytime with it, like full on daytime makeup, like, you know, being out. I've done several different nighttime scenarios, dimly lit birthday party for Robert.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. Who doesn't love a dimly lit restaurant, right? Bright restaurant, dimly lit restaurant. I mean, I have literally tried this in almost every lighting scenario. In the car, when I first got into the car, you check
the scariest place.
That's the test. And I couldn't stop staring.
Wow.
I mean, I Lewis was like, because he's driving and we were going up to Jersey City, which is like an hour from us. And he was like, are you going to close the visor now? And I was like, I can't. Like, I can't stop looking at myself.
I found my inner child is showing.
It's back. I look like Kendall Jenner now. I mean, skin wise.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to try it now. Mine feels a little like lackluster after that this week, but you know me, I've told you this before. If you've listened to this podcast, I like palettes and I like a bronzer palette that comes with a blush. I like the whole thing because I do.
And you got the colors right.
You want the colors right. And I've used Benefit for a long time. And I've told you about the quad that has the blush, the highlighter, the bronzer, all part of the same palette. Well, I was out. I mean, I used the heck out of it. I tried a Too Faced bronzer, not quite loving it so much. But I had it, as birthday passed. I have all kinds of Sephora and Ulta gift cards. I had an Ulta gift card. And so I'm like, what? I'm going to check it out and see what I can find as far as blush, bronzer palettes. I also was just getting sick of kind of the coral peachy blushes and was looking for spring for like a really pretty pink that's not over the top, but also kind of a pinky vibe instead of more of the peach or orange based colors that I was using. So walking through Ulta, and I'm disappointed because I went through all the brands. And so really on my way out, I went through the Morphe section because I love their eye makeup palettes, but I only think of them for eye makeup. And so I walked through and I was like, I stopped and I stopped dead in my tracks. I found this palette right here, which has got 8 colors in it. It's called It's 8F Fair Play Complexion Face Palette. And it's got a brightener, it's got several bronzers, it's got a couple of highlighters and 2 blushes. And they have in the palette, they've got a blush that's kind of a corally color, and then they also have a pink color. So I get this thing, I take it home. I'm like, we'll just see. Morphe products, you're not investing a whole lot. This was $26. I had a coupon and I had a gift card. So it was free for me. And I've been using it for the last few days. And I have to tell you, I am so sold. First of all, to have a brightener, part of my routine. I don't typically do that. And I've been using that in the corner of my eye just to kind of kill the shadows, which I've noticed are starting to form in the corner of my eye up against the bridge of my nose. So the brightener goes there. I do the highlighter, I do the bronzer in all the spots that you would do the bronzer. And then for a little bit of glow, but not too much, I mix the pink blush with just a tiny, tiny smidge of one of the highlighters, the less sparkly one. I've been loving this. I haven't used there's 2 highlighters and there's one that's way like blinging. I haven't used that one yet because I haven't gone anywhere fun enough to use that one yet. But I have to say, so far, every color, Morphe consistency is so good. It's so blendable. You can blend the bronzer with just a big, we'll go back to it, fluffy powder brush, which I love. Instead of having to really go in with the sponge or special brushes, you can really just go in and buff everything out. Blends really well. The colors are really nice. And usually I love Morphe, like I said, for eyeshadows, but I'm loving this new palette for bronzer and blush. So far, so good. I'm like 3-4 days in, but I've tried everything except that sparkly highlighter, and I've really liked the way it looks. I like the way it looks on camera, and I've liked the way it looked in the real world, which I think is when you get in that car mirror and you look and you go, okay, do I have stripes? What's going on here?
Right.
So I like this product.
I mean, it's a beautiful palette. And the shade of pink for the blush, that looks like a really good shade of pink that's not too much, but looks like it could work on a lot of different skin tones.
Well, I'm already naturally pink. So,
Me too.
I have a very rosy complexion. So I always get nervous around pink blushes, but I also get really tired of using like the peach or, the more corally color blushes. After a while, especially when it's spring and I'm wearing more cool tone colors, I want to start wearing some pink.
Yeah.
And I struggle because sometimes it's just way too much. This is a light wash of pink. It actually looks a little bit darker in the palette than it even shows up on your skin, but it's not a little girl's pink. It's actually a really pretty, solid, I would even just call it like a medium pink. This is for fair, by the way, fair skin. But even there, I went a little crazy in the store. They have I think they call it tan. Like they have for darker skin, obviously, and I think tan's in the label. I can look up the name, but it's obviously for much darker skin. But even those colors, I was playing with them on the back of my hand. They're workable. I really think that you don't have to stay married to the skin tone that they're calling these palettes from Morphe. There's about 3 or 4. The colors seem pretty usable and accessible for multiple skin tones. So if you're looking for a palette, you want blush, you want highlighter, you want bronzer and a brightener all in the same palette, and it's under $30.
That's amazing.
It's a really good try. This is a good place to start.
That's an incredible price point as well.
I know.
That's like
their products are so good. And a lot of makeup artists, you will see if you have someone come and do your makeup, a lot of times they use the Morphe brand. And again, I love, love, love their eye palettes. I probably have 3 or 4 and they're gigantic. They've got maybe 30 or 40 colors in them. They're huge. And there's such a wide range of textures, but I've always been skeptical about trying the other stuff. And now I'm sort of intrigued and I want to start exploring the Morphe line and say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to check it out and see what else is here. So we'll see what's next if I go down that rabbit hole with them.
Yeah. And the other thing you just reminded me when we were talking about not really using foundation or concealer as as I've really gotten away from that, and I just kind of go right up to the lash line with my foundation with the Rose Inc Solar Power mixed in. Because I was running late as per usual, so I the first time I did it, and I went a little quickly around my eyes. But right in the corners where, the light kind of hits in a weird way, sometimes it can make it look like darker. The Rose Inc gives just enough of a highlight that I didn't use any concealer, but right there in the corner of the eyes, it just makes you look so awake.
It gives you that
so youthful. I mean, it's such a youthful thing. For years, anytime I've gone out, like at night, I've always used a separate, I have a Charlotte Tilbury, it's a little stick, like a little eyeliner stick. And so I would just do the inner corners of my eyes with like a silvery or something light and shimmery, just to draw the attention more to your eyes, makes you look more awake. And it's just,
they make them pop. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so this did it for me and I didn't even need to add more. I'm telling you, I cannot wait for you to try this.
I'm seriously, I'm going to order it right now. You've got me. You've convinced me.
I literally I felt like, I'm like, is the universe playing a joke on me? I literally
is this some voodoo magic.
And I'm like, how is everyone not using this? And how is everyone not talking about this?
That brand, I know I haven't seen it get much love, but I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
I just popped it up on Sephora because I was just curious, because I bought it, the one product and then that was it. And so she has her own foundation. It's Rose Inc Skin Enhanced Luminous Skin, a serum foundation, which I probably wouldn't love, but that's kind of and she's got a cream blush. She's got some lipstick. It's a very basic line as of right now. She'll probably expand the line, I would imagine. Oh, here's the best thing. I just saw this for $18. The Rose Inc, the Solar Power they have a mini. So instead of committing to the whole bottle, go for the mini.
I see it right here, $18.
$18. Go for the mini and try it. Yeah. And just see what you think. And I mean, of course, there's a picture. See, the weird thing is there's a picture of her looking absolutely stunning. And she has that just glow about her. Her skin is always beautiful. But if I had seen a picture of her at Sephora, sometimes they have like Gwen Stefani, which I tried her new lip glosses. We can talk about that coming up too. They're great. But there's always a picture of who the celebrity is.
Yeah.
The Rose Inc shared half an aisle. You know how they do 2 different brands next to each other in one aisle? Right. So it had its own little quarter of an aisle. There was no picture. The signage is just this very sort of bland, neutral looking pink that just says Rose Inc. And so when the guy led me over there,
idea.
Yeah, I was like, okay, what is this? He goes, do you know who Rosie Huntington Whiteley is? I'm like, yeah, of course. And he's like, yeah, well, this is her line. I'm like, okay, well, she needs to hire Nick
It's right to
be the
people.
ambassador and needs to hire me.
I'm looking at the program. It's 97%. It says see their instantly improved skin brightness, which is what you're experiencing.
Yeah,
and 212% instantly increases hydration on average of 212% in your skin. That's insane.
Yep.
That's good. Works well under makeup and sensitive skin. Very cool. It's in my cart right now.
Yeah, I cannot wait for you to try this. And if you mix that even, because I did wear it on Saturday night, I did wear it over the Tatcha, the dewy cream. I didn't notice any difference really. So in a good way. So like I didn't look like I was greasy or anything.
Right. It wasn't overdone.
No. So if you really like the Tatcha and that's still working for your skin, this is just, you can do like 1 or 2 drops and play around with it.
Well, that's what I'm thinking, especially if it gives me some SPF protection too, because that's what I was really worried about with the Tatcha. During the day when I'm wearing it around, I don't have SPF. So
right.
It's a win-win. So now, speaking of protecting SPF and us against aging, I went to the movies for the first time. I think the second time since the pandemic's been over, but I used to love going to the movies, Victoria. I would be there. My mom and I, when I was growing up, she was a teacher, so we didn't have tons of money. And growing up, there was always like a matinee on Fridays. And the two of us would go to the movies. It'd be a couple dollars and we would go see like a movie every Friday pretty much. And so she's been recovering from double hip replacement, and we decided that one of the things she wanted to do was go to the movies. So we went to see 80 for Brady. And I have to tell you, it is so cute. It's just such a fun movie. If you have a mom or you have a grandma or you have a friend, your Galentine's late, go to the movies. This is it's a sweet story. It's not winning an Academy Award.
Yeah.
But it's just a sweet, fun, and I think even guys would enjoy it movie because there are some fun NFL references. And the way, for those of you who don't know what the story's about, these 4 ladies came together during one of the women, Lily Tomlin is one of the main characters, and she had a battle with cancer. And during her chemo treatments, she started watching The Patriots, and Tom Brady had just been starting around that time. And so she and her 4 friends kind of bonded over Tom Brady's career and how great he was. And say what you will about Tom Brady, he's great, right?
Of course.
So they bond over him. They're these uber Patriot fans. They decide in 2017 that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. The Patriots are playing the Falcons, and they're going to go. And so they tried to win tickets. They thought they'd won tickets, the whole storyline. But in any case, they go to the Super Bowl. And of course, there are mishaps, and they lose tickets, and they have to try to sneak in. And there's all sorts of like funny little moments. But at the end of the movie, and I wish I would have known going in, I really didn't listen to much of the press or a lot of the interviews, but at the end, they showed that this was actually based on a true story. And it was so sweet. It was executive produced by Tom Brady. He obviously had a relationship with these women and got behind the project to tell the story. And it was, once you know it's a true story, it makes you like the movie even more. And the cast is phenomenal. Jane Fonda, again, must be one of those alien people. She looks amazing for her age. Lily Tomlin is fantastic.
But here's the thing
Rita
about
Moreno,
Lily.
my favorite.
Rita Moreno, I love. Sally Field, love.
Oh my gosh, so cute.
But the thing
she
about
plays Sally Field so well.
I know, right? But the thing about Lily Tomlin, because I'm a massive Grace and Frankie fan, and so then that's Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin together in that show on Netflix. And so, but the thing about Lily Tomlin is that she's only 1 year younger than Jane.
I know.
But no one ever talks about it because she isn't, she's not the great beauty that Jane Fonda has been and still is, right?
Yep.
But but Lily hasn't had, Jane Fonda's been very open about the facelifts and, the work and stuff.
Lily Tomlin looks great for her age too. She is just more natural. Amazing.
Yeah.
She's just a natural beauty.
Her skin and everything.
Aged.
She looks incredible. Right. And then I looked it up one time because when I first started watching Grace and Frankie, and I knew that, Jane Fonda looked beautiful and everything. And then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, Lily's only a year younger. That's impressive. But no one gives her that much credit. They're both in their 80s.
It's insane. And, of course, in this movie, you've got one of the cool things, and I know your husband, who is so sweet, and he executive produces this podcast. So, Lewis, this was why you will like it, is that they put in so much cool footage from like real games to make it appear that these women were actually at the Super Bowl. And the way they incorporated the footage of real game, I thought it was
fun.
It was the production elements were really, really great. So I think guys won't sleep through this. It won't be your first choice. It's not an action movie, but there is a whole lot of sports and there are a whole lot of cameos. You get Gronkowski, you get Amendola, you get and Gronk
Tom
is
Brady's
just about
in
as
it,
cute
right?
as he can be. He is
Tom Brady
not
in
as much as you would think. I was actually surprised. I thought he was going to be in it more, but it was really about these ladies and their friendship. And it was a fun one. So if you get a chance, it's a cute movie. Again, not an Academy Award winner, but really, really sweet.
But I also kind of love, and it's not easy to come by anymore, but I love when movies aren't superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Or
just a
slasher films. Yeah. Because that's kind of the only two options now. That whatever hits a movie theater, it's either a horror film or it's some sort of Marvel Universe thing.
And or a kid's cartoon, yeah.
Or a kid's cartoon, right.
Yeah.
So I'm not into any of those three genres. So whenever there's like a real movie, they're all real. You know what I'm saying? Like a real story that comes along, and especially with a legendary cast like that, I'm always going to be up for that. So
Sally Field is so cute. It was so fun to see her back on the big screen, and Rita Moreno's character it really, really good. I know obviously everybody gives the attention to Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin because they work together in so many projects now, but those other two classics. I mean,
I love that you loved it. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm excited
Field,
to see it.
You just look at her face and you're like, she just relaxes you. There's something calming about her.
Yeah. But you're right. She has been working all along, but I don't know that she's been in anything like this high profile, right?
Yep, it's been a while.
Yeah. Well, good for them. I love that. I hope it does well, because it also will prove that adults like you and your mom will go to the movie theater if it's a movie that interests you and it's not just one of those other three categories.
And that older women can open movies too, because for so long I think that's not been quite the narrative. So that's a good thing.
I love that. That's awesome. All right. Well, we said we had a lot of stuff to talk about today. We did.
And here we are.
We will. So I can't wait for your review of Rose Inc. because I want to buy stock in this. Remember the old Seinfeld episode when Elaine uses those contraceptive sponges and they go out of, they discontinue them and she puts them in her closet and she has like a closet full of them. I want a closet full of Rose Inc. because just in case something happens, I need this in my life.
You need it in case there's a fall through.
I can't live without it now. I don't know what I'm going to do. So yeah, I will go off the deep end if that gets discontinued.
All right. Well, I will try to have my review by next week. We'll see, depending on the mail, right? We'll just see how long it takes to get here.
So we will post the info of your Morphe palette today, and Morphe?
Mm-hmm. Morphe. Yeah.
Morphe. And the Rose Inc. And we'll put that up on Instagram at BeautyPopPod. You can send us an email at beautypoppod@gmail.com. Leave us a rating and review. That would be fantastic on Apple Podcasts. And we will talk to you next week. I definitely think we should. I just started using the Gwen Stefani's new line from Sephora called Give. Mm-hmm. And so there's some fun stuff in there that I think you might like.
Maybe we should focus on the lips, because I have a new lip gloss and a new lip mask that I'm enjoying right now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. All right, cool. So maybe we'll do all about the pucker up for next episode. I like it.
There you go.
All right. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.